And there is Lou Laskin on the right there, piloting Mono Blue Grand Architect, a deck designed by Nick Spagnolo. It's currently being played in the Grand Prix by people like Brad Nelson. Do you know if anybody else is playing it?
I do not, but I know that Brad went 8-1 in Minneapolis.
Yep, so Brad doing very well, playing the same deck Lou is playing right now. I spoke with Brian Kowal last weekend, one of the best deck designers of all time, and he was playing 4 Phyrexian Metamorphs in his green-white aggro deck. And he said to me, anybody who plays less than 4 of this card in their deck is just an idiot. This card is absurd. Like, no matter how many you have, you always want more of it. And I guess it stands to reason that if best deck builder in the world is saying anybody who's not playing 4 clones is crazy, maybe not playing 8 clones is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, this format is quickly becoming about just having a better guy on the table than your opponent does.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
When you have 8 clones and 4 Ponders and Snapcaster Mages,
you just never get out mid-ranged.
Yeah, you're no matter how good your opponent's guys are, you always have 2 of it.
Yeah.
Seems really good. The ability to chain copy Dungeon Geist, obviously huge against people. It's just really good.
So we've talked about how Cuvey has his work cut out for him in the main deck. Does he have any way to improve after sideboarding?
Well, obviously he gets to bring in cards like Ancient Grudge, but I don't even know how good that is. Ancient Grudge really only targets Phyrexian Metamorph and Wormcoil Engine, and targeting a Wormcoil Engine with an Ancient Grudge, like, yeah, you're gonna deal with all of it except the 3/3 for 3 mana, but Lou still gets some value out of it. It's not Ancient Grudge isn't the blowout that you'd expect it to be against a Grand Architect deck.
Right.
Whip Flare obviously pretty dead here. It does not seem great for John Cuvey. John Cuvey, by the way, an incredible player, top-aided 3 Magic Online PTQs in a row. These are tournaments with around about 800, 900 people. So top-aiding 3 of those in a row is basically like top-aiding 3 Grand Prix in a row. It's actually harder than top-aiding 3 Grand Prix.
One of the best players you've never heard of.
Yeah, probably harder than top-aiding 3 Grand Prix in a row because you don't get buys in the Magic Online PTQ.
Yeah, that's fair.
So both these players, very strong. Lou Laskin choosing to keep. He's on the play because he did not lose a match yesterday, even Dream Crush somebody moving into the top 8. All right, anyway, Taxian Probe reveals Rampant Growth, Unmaster of the Fells, Glimmer Post, Slagstorm, Glimmer Post, Primeval Titan, Copperline Gorge.
So we have 3 lands, enough mana.
Yeah, it's pretty perfect. Like, it's a picture-perfect hand.
Yeah. So he's going to Rampant Growth for a forest here. Slagstorm doesn't seem very good.
I think it's important for him to have the option of Slagstorming, because if he does not, then Lou can cast a Grand Architect unmolested, and that's not good for him.
That's legitimate.
So here Lou has a couple different options. He can play Merfolk Looter. Generally a good idea when you can do it turn 2 on the play. He can also Snapcaster Mage with Taxian Probe. And he chooses to Snapcaster Mage with Taxian Probe. Just a Silvergill Adept.
Paying another 2 life, going down to 16. Cuvey reveals that he drew a forest, so he will definitely go for a mountain with his Rampant Growth on turn 2.
Yeah, now Cuvey with the Rampant Growth. Gonna fetch up this mountain, turn on that Slagstorm in his hand. And another Taxian Probe from Lou here.
Lou's going to pay 2 life and then probably image his Snapcaster, pay another 2 life and flash it back.
Yeah, and that way, even if John casts the Slagstorm, which, he probably won't because a Huntmaster beats the 2 Snapcasters by itself, Lou hasn't lost a card yet. Alright, and a Ponder from Lou. Give himself a few more options here.
I think that's Probe, Snag, and something else. I don't see a Grand Architect.
I think it was a Snapcaster Mage with Probe and Snag.
Yeah. But as far as I could tell, no Grand Architect in hand, right?
Yeah. Lou probably going to have to shuffle this one up. If he did have a Grand Architect, it would be very difficult for him to play it in this spot, though.
I agree. Decides to keep.
And going to be interesting here. He could play the Merfolk Looter. Yep. I like that. That gives him the option of, John becomes a little more tempted to use Slag Storm here. And as a result, Lou gets to stave off the Huntmaster for one turn. Not that Huntmaster's even that great against him.
Right. I mean,
Just-
Cuvey basically has to choose between Slag Storming and Huntmastering here, because if he Huntmasters, his Slag Storm gets significantly devalued.
Yeah, and it's a difficult thing. Like obviously, like the ordering of that, you're used to wanting to cast Slag Storm first, but Lou knew this was coming, and it's got to be clear to John that Lou is prepared for that line of play. Looking at John's hand now, that it looks like he has drawn a Solemn Simulacrum this turn, and to me, that seems like the best line of play.
Yeah. I mean, you just want to get your Titan down, especially when Lou doesn't have a Grand Architect in play, doesn't have a Wormcoil Engine inbound in the next turn.
Yeah.
So he knows that Lewis doesn't play mana leaks because players exchange deck lists at every point during the top 8 to ensure that there's no information asymmetry.
Yeah, and I mean that's something that's really strong about this deck for Lou, especially during the Swiss rounds, is that his opponents the whole time they
Think
had
that-
no idea
yeah.
whether or not.
He is capable of mana leaking them.
Yep.
He's just playing accelerated blue with no counter spells. He's playing a negate and a dissipate in the sideboard, along with 3 mental missteps and a steel sabotage as his entire counter magic suite. 6 counters, all sideboarded.
Now Lou's a couple of different options here. One play that I think might be pretty good is copying the Solemn Simulacrum. I like doing that a lot.
Ooh,
Interesting.
did
So-
not see that in his hand.
Alright, so going to tap those 2 for mana. It's going to give him the opportunity to cast Phyrexian Metamorph, which will copy the Grand Architect. That's going to put all of his creatures out of range of...
And it's going to put the architects out of range of Slagstorm, right?
Yeah, and the
Snapcaster
Snapcaster
is a
and
4/3, and
will
the
still be,
Looter is a 3/3.
John here, 3 options.
so-
Probably just going to take 3 damage. Chooses
Was he
to do
sending?
so. Yeah, he sent the Looter in.
Okay.
Probably just sandbagging the other clones in his hand. For,
Man, when
Titan turn.
his hand has to be so good if you're attacking with Merfolk Looter.
Yeah, his hand must just be just absolute pure gas.
Yeah, just the heat.
Alright, John Cuvey here. Again, a few different options. It's unlikely he has the land. Oh no, he does. He has the Glimmer Post, so he can play Primeval Titan this turn.
Yeah, he has both
And-
Glimmer Posts still in hand.
What's odd is that as a Wolfram player, I feel like when you have access to 6 mana and your opponent does not have counter magic and you can cast Primeval Titan, you've just been so trained to cast Primeval Titan. That's like what you do.
Right. It's reflexive.
Yeah.
It might not even be correct here.
In fact, I think it's actually a huge liability.
Yeah. I mean, because Lewis can untap and cast any number of metamorphs or images,
Yep.
and Ghost Quarter away all of Cuvey's Wolf runs.
Yeah, I mean, you also then can start locking down Cuvey's Primeval Titan with something like Dungeon Geist.
Yeah.
I mean, there are just so many things that can happen from Lou's end that make Primeval Titan a huge liability for John. So we're going to have to see if John can come up with a game plan to beat what Lou is throwing at him.
I really admire Lou's patience in not playing a Grand Architect until he can protect it with a Metamorph.
Yeah, and that's why that's really important here in a matchup like this.
And that showcases the power of Probe not just as part of your mana base, but as a part of Blue's capacity to sculpt game plans with superior information.
Yeah, and this attack from John, to me, I block this because I think that just means that I'm getting Slagstormed. But
Well, no. I mean, if you block it with Metamorph, your Metamorph's Grand Architect, and then everything dies.
yeah. Oh, you're right. Okay, so he doesn't have that.
Yeah,
I'm being
no.
stupid thinking that something else is.
Can Super Duper never ever block?
Yep.
Gets both Wolfront staring. So here we see a much more aggressive line by Kuvi.
Yeah, and this is actually really good. Like, this is what Cuvey needs to do if he wants to win this game. So, what he's doing here is he gets both Wolfronts instead of getting some combination of Inkwalk from Wolfront, like most ramp opponents we've seen against Lou.
Yeah, he's
And
just
Lou-
dedicated to winning via damage.
Yeah, and Lou has taken a bunch of Phyrexian damage, so John is going to take advantage of the Phyrexian damage and attempt to just trample this Primeval Titan for a big enough number to put Lou out of the game.
Yeah, the problem is Lou's going to be able to soak up at least 6 just with the creatures on the bottom of the screen, the non-Grand Architect creatures. And so if I'm Lewis, then yeah, he loots for a 4th land, finds it,
Yeah, even
probably
has the
discard
Vapor
Vapor Snag, cast Dungeon Geist, lock down Primeval Titan.
Yeah, and seems like a very reasonable course of action to me.
So
Bit of an
let's say he
interesting
does
voice
all of
there,
that, and Kuvi untaps, plays a land, and sends Solemn Simulacrum.
I'm actually somewhat surprised.
Oh, jeez. What? So, Lou's just okay losing to the 3 Pillar of Flames in Kuvi's list at any point.
Well, he knows his hand to a certain degree. There's
Right, but he's... I mean, he's sending for quite a bit this turn.
yeah, and I mean that's a lot of damage that Lou just put out there, like a lot of damage.
8, right?
Yeah, I mean it's
So there's lethal in play.
2, 2, 4. Yeah, so you just attack for 8.
AC can actually just block with Dungeon Geist and...
And next turn he can
Be
just image
just
copy
fine.
Snapcaster and then Vapor Snag and then image copy Grand Architect and have another Lord and then just kill his opponent.
Yeah. So...
Like through 2
yeah.
blockers.
That is a pretty impressive...
Line, yeah.
Yeah. Sort of hybrid line for...
With the Skull and the Vapor Snag is like very deceptive.
Right.
Yeah.
Just setting up.
Mm-hmm.
Slagstorm.
Slagstorm.
Draw a card.
And
By the way, we're definitely still keeping score about Glimmer Post because that card's gonna super matter.
yeah, alright, so gaining 2, John goes up to 12 here.
3 Glimmer Post points
Yep.
is definitely coming into play.
I don't think it matters. I think Lou just wins next turn no matter what.
2, 2, 2, 2, 5, 5.
No, it becomes 4, 4, 7, 7. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
he's at 10. Oh, then he's super, super dead, yeah. Oh, the Inkmoth might throw it off a little. No, he's Ghost Coder.
No, never mind. Huntmaster of the Fells boosts his life total out of range.
No, Dungeon Geist flies. It's attacking for 7, 4, 4. Vapor Snag puts him in 11. Yeah, he's just dead. He's dead.
So it's Snapcaster, Flashback, Vapor Snag on Wolf.
He's double image, then he can just play another image copying Grand Architect for another Lord, and then he attacks with a 7/7 in the air, and John will be at 11 because of the Vapor Snag, and 2 4/4s, and the Vapor Snag will bounce the Wolf token. So
Well, he needs a
wins.
5th land, right?
Oh, he doesn't need a 5th line for that to work. Okay. So,
So yeah, if he has a 5th land, then he has him dead, but as is, I don't think he can kill him this turn.
Yeah, but even so, he can still make a couple of Primeval Titans. Definitely has different options here.
I think a line that I would like to see is just image copy Primeval Titan, get some lands, Merfolk Looter, attack with Dungeon Geist, image copy Titan, get lands, Merfolk Looter, go. And then if Cuvie tries to flip Huntmaster into Ravager, then you have Snapcaster for snag in your own upkeep.
That's very reasonable. Lewis sending with everything. And it's going to be confusing.
This doesn't represent a lethal attack. This represents sending Cuvie to 3. Cuvie's attack back, however, does represent lethal. What Cuvie can only really put Lou on is Snapcaster for snag.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has to figure out how to not get beat. And so he can't really afford to jam on Wolf Run targeting a creature that's attacking with all of his mana.
Yeah, now,
I think you just have to let him block here.
it's difficult though. It's
I mean, if he has another Slag Storm, then your board is actually gone.
that's true. It's
So it's actually pretty rough.
somewhat precarious situation for Lou.
Yeah, I would have liked to see a more conservative line with just attacking with Dungeon Geists. Holding back both Grand Architects. Getting a Primeval Titan. And playing a 3/3
What do you think about
Merfolk
just
Looter.
casting both images as Grand Architects and sending with your team? It's like pretty reasonable.
Yeah, so you attack for 4, 4, and
8. No, you'd be attacking
7.
for 4, 4, and 7.
So that does represent a lethal attack.
You have to block 2 guys even. Alright, so Lou going to search the library for 4 lands here.
Surprise, 12 power.
Yep. And that's going to be enough to hold off John.
So gets 2 Buried Ruins and a Ghost Quarter and
A Drowned Catacomb.
a Drowned Catacomb. Any particular reason why he didn't get both Ghost Quarters?
He already has one.
Oh yeah, up top. So this is going to be the last turn that Cuvie for sure has access to Wolf Run.
Yep.
Problem is, Lou has 12 points of power.
Yeah. And 12 points of toughness, even. And it's just, it's so incredible how the 8 clones can just, punish people, because again, this format is just so much about just having the best guy on the table.
Yeah. And right now, Lewis has 2 Primeval Titans. So, lines that Cuvie doesn't have available include activating both Wolf Runs for 0, killing both images, attacking for 4, and...
Age dies
Yeah.
on board to Lou.
So he can't kill the Primeval Titans. But I don't think he can win without killing the Primeval Titans. So...
Yeah, I mean, I
think he might just be
Cuvie's-
done on board.
I think Cuvie just doesn't really have any lands. Alright,
Okay.
just to kill that. Just to kill that. Plays Glimmer Post, gaining 3, going to 8. It's definitely relevant. And, I mean, he only has colorless lands left.
Yeah.
There's actually nothing else he can do.
He's just dead to Snapcaster for snag and upkeep.
Yep.
Because he's not going to play a spell this turn. Huntmaster is going to try and flip.
Yeah, when Huntmaster tries to flip, I mean, that's it. Yeah, Cuvy.
What do you have in your graveyard?
Going through the
Snapcaster Mage on
motions.
his mind. It's important to make sure that you have all that information and that you are thinking about everything before you make plays like that. But in this case, Cuvelier was just dead if he didn't kill the Primeval Titans. Unfortunately for him, he's also
dead if he
dead
does.
for having killed the Primeval Titans. Okay. So,
drop low down to 6 here.
go, hold on, Snapcaster Mage, Vapor Snag.
Yep,
That's
and game 1, Lewis Laskin able to take that down. Again, the play, being on the play in every match, proving to be very valuable for Lou.
This
You know-
rules change.
You know,
is
people.
a
Some
big
people
deal.
have complained about the rules change. I know.
I'm actually
you
a
know,
huge fan.
Okay. Hey guys, how are you?
Hey.
We're about to give away 6 free months of Star City Games Premium. How it works, we're going to ask you guys a trivia question. You can tweet your answers to #SCG Premium, and then we will pick somebody who gave us the correct answer and give you 6 free months of Premium. Now, there's a creature in this top 4. There aren't many creatures like this in the history of Magic. I actually wrote the preview card about this creature
Really?
on MagicGathering.com when Scars of Mirrodin was first released. It's something that, Ali Antrazi has been known to play a good deal. It's a card that is pretty offbeat, and I'm really excited that it's in the top 4 of this event. So I'd like to know, what Blue Lord found its way into the top 4 of the SCG Open for the first time, I think, this year.
Yeah, definitely this year.
Yeah, first time in 2012, this Blue Lord has found itself in the top 8 of Star City Games Open.
Tweet your answers
And it's even in
to
the top 4.
#SCG Premium, and we'll pick a winner at the end of the round.
Yeah. Remember, if you tweet to me and not to #SCG Premium, unfortunately, you are not entered in the contest. I'm not the one who picks the drawing. You have to.
We don't have a hat here.
Yeah,
Something like
SCG
that.
Premium. Yeah, I mean, if we had a hat, it'd be a different story.
Yeah, I mean we'd have a lot
Speaking
more fun with
completely
this too. Believe me, anything involving picking names out of a hat is awesome.
That's not always, right? Think about when they pick names out of a hat to decide who gets murdered in the Song of Fire and Ice book. They. Yeah. All right.
I haven't even read that yet, man. That's messed up.
Ruining things for you, ruining them.
I'm still in the second book.
All right, we're going into. There, Hunger Games. There, that's
Okay, yeah, that's legitimate.
More zeitgeisty, Anyway, Lou Laskin in his sideboard here has access to a Dissipate, has access to an extra copy of Dungeon Geist. Besides that, I'm not really sure. I don't know if he's going to bring in the Negate. He probably will. I mean, it counters Green Sun Zenith. It's pretty good against the Slag Storms. Not great, though. Anyway, the Devastation Titan Lewis' deck is horrible, the one in his main deck.
Yeah, he hates it.
Yeah, he said it's bad against everything, but he's been able to win in spite of it. So, definitely not bringing in the extra copy of Devastation Titan.
Yeah, that seems pretty bad.
But looking at John Cuvey's board, he has an Ancient Grudge. He has an Acidic Slime.
He has some natural ends.
That's not bad.
Natural end, a naturalize that gains 3 life.
Yeah. You try with the Glimmer Post, that can definitely, give him a full draw step, probably.
Yeah. Hey man, that's a valuable thing.
No, that is a valuable thing. I'm actually not complaining about that. If you have the natural ends with them, I'll buy that it gives you a draw step. But
you have your life gain package.
Yeah, the way the format goes over the top, like even that game, yeah, like John Cuvey, over the course of that game, gains 6 life from this Glimmer Post. And the turn before he died, he was at 8, and then he just died. And that's how it seemingly goes. Like you gain this life that, yeah.
And then you get attacked for a huge packet of damage.
Yeah, like the way Standard works now, like things, like there's an avalanche effect as far as like the power that you're being attacked for. Like once somebody takes control of the game, they're not just like hitting you for 4 a turn while they have control and like trying to hold on to it. Like they're hitting you for 4, then they're hitting you for 8, then they're hitting you for like 27, and then
it's a lot of Wormcoil engines and worms.
Because that's what Magic's about now, man. It's about
Wormcoil engines and worms, and lots of them. It's about lots of something.
Titans.
It's not about like just doing one thing. It's about doing that thing a lot.
It's true. I mean, isn't that what everything is about?
Overdoing
Ever since Kaiga the Tide Star created everything. I'm a huge fan of Lou's deck here. It's just been performing like beautifully every time we've watched it play. And that game, I mean, even at the end there, because of that Gitaxian probe, Lou was able to just create the perfect line. Everything worked out. He was able to kill his opponent. Like his opponent on that last attack was going to be at, I think, like negative, 3? Like it was really like perfect.
Yeah.
Knowing the number of turns it's going to take.
He definitely got aggressive when he needed to.
Yeah.
Didn't miss points.
And that's something that's, that's maybe one of the reasons why this deck has not succeeded in the past, is because decks like this require a remarkable ability to switch gears. And, sometimes you're playing Freets and you don't know when to switch to attacking with Lingering Souls in Gavany Township.
Right.
And that's one of the things that really separates a good player from a great player, is switching gears. And there are some people who aren't even technically, like as far as technical play goes, some of the better players in the history of Magic, who just have an unbelievable ability to switch gears, just at the exact right moment every time. Like Gerard, who's a commentator, is an excellent example.
Yeah.
Gerard, when it comes to like the actual math, when it comes to mulligan decisions, Gerard makes some mistakes, and for like a lot of people like question, like they're like, how does this guy have like over 200 pro points? Like I watch him play, and I'm like, I don't understand these decisions he makes.
They tell me he's a legend, but then he keeps 6 lands Praetor's Council and limited.
Yeah, it's some interesting stuff, but when it really comes down to it, Gerard is better at switching gears on a dime exactly at the moment he's supposed to than anybody else.
Understands games. It's very, very impressive to watch him.
Yeah. So John leading himself with the Copperline Gorge into a Birds of Paradise.
There's only one.
And that's an unfortunate start for Lou. It's pretty odd that John would have this, but John's hand.
Picture perfect.
Land. He can Beast Within Lou's first land drop, which I don't know if it's the best, but definitely an option.
Lou plays how many lands?
Lou plays 23 lands.
So do you point this at Lou's first land and just try and
get him?
Yeah, get him. I mean,
maybe, and I mean the matchup is pretty bad in the long term. Like
the
maybe
temptation
just try to get him.
Like, get him is so strong. I mean, you could also just like put it at the second land drop, right? You don't need to not cast your Rampant Growth.
I like how John Cuvey doesn't even think. Like he's not like, I'm gonna get him. He's just, I'm going to play this game.
Attack for 0. You're up. He's playful. He gets it. We both know that I don't have Galvanic Blast in my deck list. You're up.
I mean, Lou has a couple different options here. Like he's on the draw, so a line that interests me to a certain degree is Phantasmal Image on Birds of Paradise.
Yeah,
I don't hate that at all.
I think it's fun.
Well, the one issue is that his opponent does have the Beast Within, so they can just target the Phantasmal Image with Beast Within.
Dude, I would love for but your opponent just casts Dark Banishing on your Birds of Paradise. That's cool.
That's true. That's completely reasonable.
I'd be all sorts of down with that, man.
Alright, let's see what
now Lou is not first to the board, and Cuvey might have a better grip on this game. I think that this is how Cuvelier is going to actually win games. I think that Cuvelier ends up pointing Beast Within at his own land.
It's pretty reasonable. I mean, he's sided in the Karn, so
yeah,
it's in his hand.
Oh,
his
boy.
hand is Karn, Devil's Play, Primeval Titan. So this
Never
plan
mind.
that he started out
Not
with,
Beast Within.
He's not Beast Within his own land, I don't think.
Yeah, I think he's probably Beast Within Grand Architect in response to a clone going on the stack.
Yeah, I mean, Cuvelier here, Drew Rubin Crag, perfect draw step for him. He just wants to hit these land drops. Super important that he hits his land drops.
And I think you just ship a wolf in, say go. Yeah.
Yeah, seems reasonable enough to me.
Trade off, cool.
Both players right now at 22.
Yeah, go try and flip Huntmaster.
And Lou's going to go ahead and bounce the Birds of Paradise with Vapor
So,
Snag. Very nice.
Vapor Snag protects him from Titan next turn and stops Huntmaster from flipping into Ravager and eating Wolf.
Yeah.
Both of which are pretty important things to do right now.
And so Lou able to tie things up at 20-20.
I also like how Lou traded off his Phantasmal Image instead of his Wolf.
Yeah, I mean, that just makes him less susceptible to a Kessig Wolf run off the top from John.
Sure. Or Devil's Play for 0, or
Yeah, any number of things.
Pillar of Flame. Yeah, Pillar of Flame doesn't matter. But yeah. Sometimes, even though there are small differences, there is a better decision. We see Grand Architect copying Grand Architect.
Yep.
Cuvelier decides not to Beast Within in response.
I mean, he has the option to. And
Yeah, I think
it gives him-
that's what he's thinking about. That can be the only thing.
yeah, because, I mean, depending on what's in Lou's hand at this point, for Cuvelier, he might be thinking, okay, well, if he's got more clones, it makes this line, maybe my only out is the Slag Storm.
I mean, so if he Beast Withins in response, then Lou can choose to either copy the Beast or copy the Huntmaster. But regardless, Cuvelier can just draw, maybe play a land, pass, and then flip Huntmaster into Ravager again. Decides to Beast Within the Metamorph. I don't know that I like that. And I'm not sure I understand why.
Alright, so Lou gets a 3-3. He has to.
Correct.
Yeah.
He gets a 3-3, but he gets to still have his Grand Architect. Okay.
Alright, and Cuvelier, without hitting that land drop, maybe slow rolling it. I don't think so. He's going to Karn and Primal Titan.
Yeah. His hand's Karn Primeval Titan. He basically wants this bird to survive real bad.
Yeah. Lou with a
A handful of lands.
yeah, not a very good hand here. But he's top decked a lot of lands in a row. Not really what he wants to be doing.
Yeah, he has Island, Ghost Quarter, Phantasmal Image. Huntmaster's gonna flip, haunt the beast, the wolf rather.
So then I was like, okay, well, it's only like $20, so it's basically like this. It's only $20.
Yeah, now different things here for Lou. Now, interestingly enough, even though he's like flooded here, if Cuvelier does cast Primeval Titan,
He gets to Buried Ruin for his Metamorph.
and then double
Metamorph.
copy it. Yeah, Metamorph.
Yeah, Metamorph plus Image, the Titan. It's very good.
It's like even with this like bad hand from Lou, still,
Sorry, Karn. GG.
yeah, that's going to be a huge problem for Lou here.
You can't clone a Planeswalker.
No, you cannot.
Sorry, boys.
Yeah, and it's a one of something that Lou was not necessarily expecting.
Yeah. It's brutal.
Very good against him though. And Cuvelier going upstairs with this card. Yeah,
Yeah.
Lou, a smart man.
Knows that he is not beating a Karn on 10 counters with no action in hand. As someone Moto would say, nice land.
So these two are going to be moving on to game 3, and it was a good game from Cuvey. Lou gets a little bit flooded, and Cuvey able to draw the 1-off Karn, and just like that, Lou wins a matchup that's extremely good for him. And that's one of the great parts about Magic. As long as you're playing tight, and as long as you're looking for the angle and looking for the correct line of play,
you can still win bad matchups.
Yeah, you can win your worst matchup.
I agree.
And I mean, if somebody's going to figure it out, it's going to be Cuvey. He's a pretty good player. Now, no. The players,
He's probably putting Devastation Tide on the table.
Maybe.
I mean, that's got to be the card that he's showing him, right? And what other card makes you go like that?
The card makes you go like that? I mean, that may have been a reaction to Cuvey drawing the 1-of.
Oh, sure.
Because he Gitaxian probed him too, and it wasn't there.
Yeah, right.
So you had to draw in like 3 draw steps. And it was basically the only thing that beat Lou in that spot.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like Lou's ever beating the 1-of Karn except with his 1-of Dissipate or his 1-of Negate, right? Correct. Or just like having more pressure, but Cuvey had the control draw into Karn, which is what he needed there.
Yeah.
So, he did it.
Lou's deck has a lot of angles, man.
Yeah.
Constantly angling.
It's supposed to be angling.
Fisherman's Wharf. That's what I'm gonna call this deck. And you don't want to know why it has so many angles? Because it plays 8 clones. It's literally like I can't imagine how much fun it is to play this deck. Like you look at your opening hand and you like when you don't know what your opponent's playing.
I have so many options.
In the Swiss, like
it could do anything. Yeah.
You don't know. Maybe you have a hand where you're gonna like hero Blade Hold and then Vapor Snag their hero at the beginning of their combat step and then just crush them. You never know. That could happen.
Yeah.
Probably will happen. Probably did happen.
You could like Phantasmal Image their Lightning Mauler, Phyrexian Metamorph their hero of Blade Hold, get in immediately. 10 damage out of nowhere, man.
Yeah, I think yesterday Lou copied a Silver Blade Paladin that somebody had played, giving his Wormcoil Engine double strike, sent it in, and then
Vapor
on his
Snag
opponent's tag, Snapcaster Vapor Snag to break the
bond.
Break the bond of his opponent's creature and just eat his opponent's whole board.
That's
after
awesome.
Making a double striking Wormcoil Engine. Like, little brutal.
You get to exercise your capacity to be very aware of what's going on and what could go on. If you don't have that, though, the deck will not perform as well for you as it has for Lewis.
Yeah, it's not an easy deck to play. Despite being a monocolor deck full of sorcery speed dudes.
Yeah,
Remarkably difficult
It
deck.
is one of the... It doesn't have that many, like, wildly high-dollar cards.
Wormcoil Engine, Phyrexian Metamorph, and Phantasmal Image are all.
Yeah, Snapcaster Mage as well, but like...
And Snapcaster Mage, obviously.
There are definitely decks with higher concentrations of Mythics, right?
Definitely. I mean, this is... It's a reasonably budget deck. I mean, it's probably around like 250, 200. But, for a standard deck, that's actually pretty low.
Well, and like, Wormcoil was a release foil. Phantasmal Image was like $2 or $3 once upon a time. Snapcaster Mage has always been $1 zillion. Phyrexian Metamorph had hung around $5 for a long time. And then, like, Drowned Catacombs has been reprinted into Oblivion.
Not quite into Oblivion, right? Three core sets in a row?
3 core sets in a row, so many.
I remember when it first came out, man.
I mean, dude, it's going to be a bulk rare the next time they print it.
It will be a bulk rare next time I print it. Alright, Lou Laskin on the play here. Deciding whether or not he wants to pay 2 life or pay 1 mana to cast this Gitaxian Probe. Chooses to pay 1 mana.
If he doesn't have a Ponder, he definitely shouldn't be paying life. So this one is just the full-on control into Primeval Titan.
Yeah, which is, I mean, John keeps having that hand.
Yeah.
All 3 games.
The multiple removal spell.
The multiple removal spell, ramp spell, and Titans hand. With lands.
Correct. This is basically what Kuvi needs to...
Yeah, Kuvi definitely has a chance to win here. It looks like Lou is a bit of a problem. He's drawn a lot of land here already.
Oh, well.
And leads off with a Merfolk Looter.
Which is going to be super valuable in getting rid of all of those lands.
Yep.
Sphere of the Suns for Kuvi.
Yeah. And ooh, another land. We're going to cash that in. Upgrade to a Wormcoil Engine. And Matthew is going to
So that's a much better draw step.
Yes.
How lucky, he drew a Wormcoil Engine.
It only took him 2 draw steps.
Hey man. It's all luck, no skill.
And John Kuvi here.
The sickest part is that if Kuvi knew Lou's hand, he would Slagstorm that Merfolk Looter in a heartbeat.
He does. And Lou Vapor Stacks it.
That tells you a lot about how bad Lou's hand is.
Yeah. Lou flying a 19 for that Vapor Stack there. Different options here. Probably just going to replay the Looter. I mean, you can't make that Vapor Stack play and not just replay the Looter, right?
Correct. The problem is it's going to get Slagstormed again, which is fine.
Which is fine, because now if he Slagstorms it, that's actually not that bad for Lou.
Yeah, correct.
And I think John might be able to recognize that. Yep.
Zenith for Huntmaster.
Zenith for Huntmaster, and that's pretty good.
Yes.
It's definitely what he wants to be doing.
So, if Lou peels Grand Architect here, he has Wormcoil Engine.
Correct. I think he may already have the Grand Architect. Oh no, he definitely does not.
Kuvi jokingly says block. Lewis loots away another land after drawing a land. Very late on action. Can't really let his Merfolk Looter get eaten. Do you pay 2 life here?
I think it greatly depends what's in his hand.
Ouch. That's a Primeval Titan next turn. Or Slagstorm Beast Within.
And both which very good turns for John here.
I mean, Land Titan seems fairly easy, given Lou's insistence on keeping a Merfolk Looter around. And that was not a good draw for Lou.
No, not at all.
Drawing another Merfolk Looter when his opponent has Slagstorm and Huntmaster in play, and Primeval Titan in hand. 5 lands with a 6th in hand. Not where he wants to be. This is not shaping up the way he needs it to shape up.
Yeah, now John, drawing card. Probably just going to drop Primeval Titan and play. I don't really know what else.
I think the correct thing to do for Lewis is to loot, discard Looter, play 6th land. Wow, instead, transform, target your Merfolk Looter. He's going to loot in response. Discard Looter. So Kuvi has gone for the Beast Within plan. Because what he's going to do is he's going to Beast Within the Wormcoil Engine.
And then Slagstorm.
Or hit his land. Interesting.
You hit the Buried Ruin? That isn't. Okay, so yeah, there's no artifact in his graveyard.
Did he have a second one?
Yeah, he drew
a second one. Wow. That is a brutal turn.
revealed why Kubi made
And
the decision that he did.
he gets to flip his own master back.
Yes, he does. Pretty good.
Make another wolf, gain another 2 life, pass the turn again if he wants to. Eat the Snapcaster Mage. Or just cast Primeval Titan at this point, since he is in no danger of getting Wormcoil Engined. This is not looking good for Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, flipping back isn't necessarily the best for John because Lou has the 2 3/3s, and John does have Slagstorm.
Yeah.
Right, so
It's not all sunshine and daisies for the man who just ate a Merfolk Looter and double Stone Rained his opponent.
I mean, it's obviously very good for him. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
flipping back is not the most ideal thing. I think he might just rather have it stay
Yeah, I agree.
as a Ravager themselves. Alright, so Lou does have some options here. I think just ponder. Let's see what he finds here. And he's gonna have to shuffle that away. Yep. So here, Lou. I mean, this isn't really
Went
much of
from
a
land
decision.
flooded to needing a 4th, 5th, and 6th mana source.
I mean, I
for
don't
his
think so.
Wormcoil
I
Engine.
think he has a Grand Architect, so that does it all by itself.
Yeah.
Like there, he just had 2 lands on the top, and he definitely shuffles.
Yeah.
You just, at this point, you just want to have as many clones as you can possibly muster in your hand. That's why you play 8 of them. And another Grand Architect.
Had it. Metamorph my Grand Architect. Suddenly, his Grand Architect's out of Slagstorm range. A big turn, showcasing
Yeah, a big
the
turn for both
explosivity and power of acceleration for Lewis's deck. Phyrexian Metamorph being an artifact and costing 4 is a big deal.
Yep. And Lou does have to pay 2 life because the Phyrexian mana didn't have a blue available for that, but
Primeval Titan inbound.
that's going to be a problem for Lou. He's going to need to find a clone for this next turn.
And suddenly that pieced within makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, to Lou.
And this time, Kuvi is going to try and set up the Phyrexian kill.
Yeah, which seems much more reasonable this time around.
Two life.
Jackson Probe.
Yeah. Yep. Just a Slagstorm that you know about. Do you draw another Wormcoil Engine?
He did draw another Wormcoil. He could play both Wormcoils this turn.
Both?
Yeah.
So he taps the creatures he has in play for 1.
Yep. Then his creatures have in play for 1, taps 1 blue, makes the Wormcoil Engine in his hand. Or makes the Wormcoil in play.
No, he's 1
blue.
short.
Yeah, he doesn't have a land.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
No?
I think his hand is just 2 Wormcoil Engines right now.
And a Wormcoil Engine for Lou.
And 3 Grand Architects.
Yeah, the ability to make that Wormcoil Engine into a 9/9 on command.
John is going to get way out of range of any sort of damage-based victory.
Well, 27, 27 deceptively small when your opponent has 9/9 Wormcoils.
Well,
Yeah.
and all of his Grand Architects are 4/5s, 4/6s.
Yeah, They're
But
not
Lou is just
small.
facing down lethal next turn.
To the ink.
Correct. Lethal, Inkmoth,
I mean, it's a
Infect.
pretty difficult play for John to make, to dump everything into the Inkmoth, though. There are a lot of things that Lou could have that would just make him lose the game if that happened.
Vapor Snag.
The Vapor Snag. I mean,
Especially because he played this Glimmer Post. I actually really don't like that. So the reason why I don't like Glimmer Post here is because 5 Infect plus 5 Infect is fine, 4 Infect plus 6 Infect is fine. But because he played Glimmer Post, if he gets snagged, he can't replay it. And he can use Sphere to pump it up to 5 Infect.
yeah.
Even without the Glimmer Post. And if it gets snagged, then he just replays it and still has a 2-turn clock available. He'd have to use a Sphere counter for that, but I would be willing to sacrifice a Sphere counter for the guarantee that Vapor Snag isn't going to cut off the possibility of an Infect kill entirely.
And
Without, I think Lou is just on a 2-outer Ghost Quarter draw here.
I think he drew for his turn and didn't get it.
Actually, no, because he could also have Vapor Snag.
If Vapor Snag would do it. Ponder into either of them.
I think you just have to put all your guys in the red zone here. Holds back the 3, 4, 6 Grand Architects. So Kubi holding Slagstorm. I'm just going to go to 18 for this attack. And
Blocks the 5/4 with Final Frame. Blocks the 3/3. Blocks the 6/6.
no block with the Ravager. Ah, yes. The good old take 9.
Yes.
Gain 9, rather.
So it's to blue his 1 coil engine.
Ah,
Another 1 coil.
and suddenly the holding back becomes clear. And it looks like Kuvi's going to advance here on the back of Inkmoth Wolfron.
Yep, and I think Lou's going to concede here as soon as Cuvie pumps this. And John Cuvier. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lou, a bit of a lackluster draw. John played the game really well. And was able to pull out a very difficult matchup. You know, 3 very good draws from John. 2 pretty mediocre draws from Lou.
I agree.
And
Land heavy at first, and then the double beast within was really very, very good.
you resculpted his hand to a certain degree with that Merfolk Glitter.
In
Now,
fairness, it showcased
I
the
mean-
power of playing all 4 beast withins in the 75